should keep moving. I'm still here.
So it seems like you can't get in. Yeah, especially close to this rocks like that. We're gonna end up with the head in the
All right,
mountain. Yeah, come here. Well, we need to stop and have a break. We already had a bit of we're gonna put our tents down and have we need to be close to a tree and have some wood first. Okay, well, let's see who's got some wood.
Let's get going.
I need to trade something with
I'll be
you.
sure to put it to good use.
I'm gonna take something from you for once. Firewood 20, you see? She's got fire.
Let's go.
Just what we need. So let's put the tent somewhere. For once, not close to a dead body. Well, we're gonna stay under those German arches. No, I don't think anybody's gonna come here. So, tent. Perk to increase 2. Next perk progress. Light campfire and sleep in tents once per day to earn perks. Each new perk requires few more action. Oh, light campfire. Choose perk. Yes. We can got another one. Yes. Because I don't know how to get to the others. So it. Only 9 p.m. Do you have a story to tell? Smithing SKYRIM's heart. Interviews with Tapestries, Volume 18. SKYRIM's Heart of Anekina by Livius Pyrrhus, Professor of Imperial at the Imperial University. Contemporary with Makamat Lucin, interviewed in Volume 17 of this series, in the Khajiti SKYRIM, whose tapestries have been held as masterpieces all over the Empire for 930 years now. His 4 factories located throughout elsewhere make reproductions of his work, but his original tapestry commands stellar prices. The Emperor himself owns 10 shimmering tapestries, and his representatives are currently negotiating the sale of 5 more. The muted use of color, contrasted with the luminous skin tone of SKYRIM's subject, is a marked contrast with the whole style of tapestry. The subjects of his work in recent years have been fabulous tales of the ancient past, the gods meeting the discuss of the formation of the world, the shimmer following the prophet Velot with into Morrowind, the wild elves battling Moreus and his legions in the White Gold Tower. His earliest designs deal with more contemporary subjects. I had the opportunity to discuss with him one of his first masterpieces, the Heart of Anekina, at his villa in Arcris. The Heart of Anekina presents an historic battle in the 5 Years' War between Elsewhere and Valenwood, which rages from the third area 394 or third area 395, depending on what one considers to be the beginning of the war, until third area 399. In most fair accounts, the war lasted 4 years and 9 months, but artistic license from the great epic poets added an additional 3 months to the order. The actual details of the battle itself, as interpreted by SKYRIM, are explicit. The faces of 120 wood elf archers can be differentiated one from the other, each registering fear at the approach of the Khajiti army. Their hauberks catch the dim light of the sun. The menacing shadows of the elsewhere battle cats loom on the hills, every muscle strained, ready to pounce and command. It is not surprising that he got all the details right, because SKYRIM was in the midst of it as a Khajiti foot soldier. Every minute part of the Khajiti traditional armor can be seen in the soldiers in the foreground, the embroidered edging and striped patterns of the tunics. Each lacquered plate on loose-fitting leather in the elsewhere style, the helmet of cloth and fluted silver. SKYRIM does not understand the point of plate mail, said SKYRIM. It is hot, for one, like being both burned and buried alive. SKYRIM worried at the insistence of our Nord advisors during the Battle of Zelinin. And SKYRIM couldn't even turn to see what my fellow Khajit were doing. SKYRIM did some sketches for a tapestry of the Battle of Zelinin, but SKYRIM finds that to make it realistic, the figures came out very mechanical, like iron golems or drummer centurions. Knowing our Khajiti commanders, SKYRIM would not be surprised if giving up the heavy plate was more aesthetic than practical. Elsewhere lost the Battle of Zelinin, didn't she? Yes, but Elsewhere won the war, starting at the next battle, the heart of Anekina, said SKYRIM with a smile. The tide turned as soon as the Khajit sent our Nordic advisor back to Solitude. We had to get rid of all the heavy armors they brought to us and find enough traditional armor our troops felt comfortable wearing. Obviously, the principal advantage of the traditional armor was that we could move easily in it, as you can see from the natural stances of the soldiers in the tapestry. Now, if you look at this poor perforated cataract who just keeps battling on the bottom background, you see the other advantage. It seems strange to say, but one of the best features of traditional armor is that an arrow will either deflect completely or pass all the way through. An arrowhead is like a hook made to stick where it strikes if it doesn't pass through. A soldier in traditional armor will find himself with a hole in his body and the bolt on the other side. Our healers can fix such a wound easily if it isn't fatal, but if the arrow still remains in the armor, as it does with heavy armor, the wound will be reopened every time the fellow moves, unless the Khajit strip off the armor and pull out the arrow, which is what we had to do at the Battle of Zelinin. A difficult and time-consuming process at the heat of the battle, to say the least. I asked him next, is there a self-portrait in the battle? Yes, SKYRIM said with another grin. You see the small figure of the Khajit stealing the rings of the dead wood elf? His back is facing you, but he has brown and orange striped tail like SKYRIM's. SKYRIM does not say that all stereotypes about the Khajit are fair, but SKYRIM must sometimes acknowledge them. A self-deprecating style of self-portraiture is also evident in the tapestries of Ranul Hook, the next artist interviewed in volume 19 of this series. I was looting. He didn't portray himself fighting, but looting.